baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
Hello, everybody. Welcome
Good morning, fine sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. At least I think it's a good morning. I don't know. It's been a frustrating week, Chelsea-wise. Other things in the soccer world that I've noticed that's just like really grinding my gears. And today is just one of those days where it's like it's gonna all just spew out of my mouth. Because I'm frustrated.
We're gonna have an Adam vent day.
It's gonna be bad, and I apologize if I go off the rails. Every once in a while. I've wore my BVB shirt because at least they are somewhat doing well, actually, and we'll get into that. A little Champions League talk is our obviously main topic today, and of course we can't forget about the Prem, but. I figured since we've had the Merseyside Derby be like the main topic previously this year. So I figured we didn't want to be repetitive. Obviously that'll be a talk. But
yeah, that one kind of snuck under the cracks. Even our boy Lord Walker kind of avoided even talking about it with us this week. So.
Yeah. I mean, when you're not the top dog, it seems that fixture kind of gets put by the wayside because you're a little nervous on the inside.
I think he deflected us in our group text with trying to do an Arsenal Man City best 11 ever and completely ignored the fact that his team is probably a loss to Everton away from officially being out of the champion race.
Do you think that's what he was doing, just deflecting with that Man City Arsenal thing?
I mean, I don't want to put it on him like that, but I think we've started to know him pretty well over the year now, and I know what he was doing.
Yeah, I guess that actually makes sense now with because I thought it was an interesting conversation to have, obviously with. The Man City Arsenal game. We'll get into that as well. And I kind of wanted to throw what we are talking about in our group chat with like your all-time 11 between Man City and Arsenal, what the people thought about our collective starting 11. I guess the Kickin at Stateside starting 11 for an all-time Arsenal Man City.
And definitely without argument, and that's why we are on this platform of A2D, because we can always agree to disagree, and Adam and I kind of agreed to disagree on a couple things. And I may have slightly changed my stance on that since we've last talked, and I guess I'll elaborate on that too when we get to that point. So.
Yeah, that was an interesting talk. And again, I think it's showing both of our ages on what we grew up watching on some of these topics. Yeah. But yeah, that's an interesting debate, excuse me, that we're going to have as well today, which I thought was going to be entertaining. And again, our poll question, good morning, Greg. What's going on, bud? Tommy?
Hey, Greg, you know what, though? Tommy, thank you. I see Greg saying he disagrees to the poll, and he's saying he's completely ignorant on the fact. But hey, at least Greg's here, and he's liking, he's subscribing, and he's at least answering the poll. So thank you for everybody that's joining us. Again, like, subscribe, A2D Radio, Kickin at Stateside, all social media platforms. Anywhere you get your podcasts, you can find us. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And show today, like every week, brought to you by the good doc, Dr. Paul Vidal, over at Specialized Physical Therapy. You can find him specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Obviously, during this whole COVID time, you're not comfortable with going in to the two locations in Burlington and Cherry Hill. You can do a consultation online. So again, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. He's our doc. Make him yours.
He's going to be a busy man with all this snow we've been having. There's a lot of
I feel like I need to make a consultation myself. I am like hurting. But yes, the poll question today, again, going away from any games. Like, I feel lazy doing like, will Man City beat Arsenal, or will Arsenal beat Man City? Or
no, I think this was, honestly, I loved this poll question. I thought when you sent this, I thought it was phenomenal poll question.
With, Champions League talk, we'll probably start it out the show this week with that, and then go to the Prem, switch it up a little bit with the poll question. Kylian Mbappe, PSG, Starlet. I think he's 22 now. Feels like he was 19 like a year ago. And
been
then
condensed.
Erling Haaland, the Dortmund youngster. Who do you think will have the better career? I guess is what we're going to be getting at, because one had a hat trick in the Champions League this past week, and another had 2 goals, which helped his team get a nice 3-2 first leg win on the road. So I wanted to throw it out to you, Brian. I'll give it to you first, and I guess I'll go off what my opinion would be on who's going to be the better.
I guess the only way, looking at it when you sent it to me, there's really one way I felt that I could answer this question, and it is, at this stage where we currently sit today, Mbappe is still the leader in my books. Again, he's got a little bit of a head start. The World Cup and the impact that he made in France winning that World Cup is kind of what puts him, a little bit ahead to me, obviously, at this point. But with that being said, there's still very long careers ahead of both of these guys. I don't know. It's a really, that's why I said it's a great question, because where Haaland's going to lose a little edge again, I think, is going to be on the national stage, because he performs there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you and I have seen it. He scored 6 goals in a game for Denmark, but I don't think that team is ever going to quite probably make some of the noise internationally that France will, with that young core that France has. And I think that'll probably constantly give Mbappe the slight edge. Now the only thing that I can see is I see Haaland probably making a move to the Prem before Mbappe ever does. I have a feeling Mbappe is going to be one of those guys that's going to like to stay comfortable for a while. Probably stay at PSG, maybe go to Spain. I mean, if he goes to Real and turns Real back around, and then there's no question it's going to be Mbappe. But if Haaland makes this jump, ends up at like Liverpool, and Liverpool bounces back after this season healthy, it's going to be a fun race to watch as fans. It's 2 great young players. I know Greg said he's kind of ignorant to who these 2 guys are. Well, if you're just kind of getting into the sport, those are 2 guys to look up. I mean, we're in an age where we got YouTube, we got all that, dude. There's highlight reels everywhere. They're phenomenal, both guys, to watch. Haaland definitely probably scores more.
Yeah, I would say.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, they're both pretty full of goals. But, I mean, I guess to piggyback off your thought, I mean, Mbappe, I think, has the slight advantage to this point, obviously, with the World Cup winner. And also, that's where he really got his name, that World Cup, whatever, 3 years ago. Anybody on the grand stage. We were talking about, this is another thing that Eric brought up in our group chat, that the top 10 most followed athletes in the world on Instagram, I think 8 of the 10 or 9 of the 10 are all soccer players.
9 of the 10 are soccer players, and then LeBron James sitting in,
which makes sense. But
So
that's
when
another topic. But yes, and it's funny that James Rodriguez is on that. And he, like you said, he brought up that World Cup for Colombia was his coming out party when he was just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And that's when Mbappe kind of got his name out there, that young as well. But I agree. I think that Mbappe will probably have the better career, but not to say that Haaland won't have a fantastic career himself. I think also with Haaland being from Norway and not as popular of a soccer country, and they haven't had as much success on that stage yet, is probably going to hinder him. But I think Haaland actually does make the jump to the Prem, like you said, before Mbappe does. Because Mbappe, it's like, in my opinion, he's either going to Real Madrid or they're going to somehow recruit Messi to come to PSG, and they're both going to just tag team it up in France for the next 3 seasons again.
Yeah.
And Eddie brought up a good point. That Monaco team that had they had Fabinho on Liverpool now. They had Thomas Lemar, who was a young stud that was coming up. When Bakayoko was actually really good, he was on
Mbappe
that
was
team.
what, 17 at that time?
Yeah. And they were just pouring in goals. And they had Falcao on that team as well. Oh, I don't forget that. That was when Dortmund faced them in the, I think, the quarters. And they put up, I think, 6 in the 2 legs at Monaco. It's just like, you can't stop them.
Yeah, but, I mean, at the same time, that team was phenomenal. But then you look back at Haaland, too, and what he was doing at Salzburg and the, how he was driving that team and getting that team competitive in games in Champions League, where it was pretty much all him. He was scoring, and they weren't winning, but they were, he wasn't afraid of any of the competition he was playing. He was playing against world-class defenders, and he was putting goals in the net. So,
right. I mean, I think Haaland's making he has the fast track right now because he went from a Salzburg team, Red Bull Salzburg, to Dortmund and is doing it. But I think Haaland's 20 now, so they're a little different in age. So maybe they are on the same track. I mean, the Monaco team was fantastic. I mean, and then
that was a whole team too. I mean, Mbappe was a big part of it, but that team was just ridiculous.
That team was insane.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Again, good morning, everybody.
Before you skip over them, I see Evan and Eddie are on the vibe of this morning, and it appears that hopefully none of these guys go to Chelsea. So,
which it hurts my heart because I want to see Haaland at Chelsea because he is a much better hold-up player than the Timo Werner by far. So I think that if Tuchel survives the next year and a half, I think Haaland would fit his system better than Werner, but that's another story for another day. Again,
we got time today. We're going to talk about that today.
Haaland goes to Chelsea, then it's Mbappe. Of course, Jake the Snake, what's up, brother? Despite, again, like Greg, everybody, people that are new, it's okay. Look these guys up, though, and see their highlight tapes. And even like Haaland, he is a character. Like some of his interviews are very interesting and kind of funny in a very like dry
Norwegian
sense
way.
of the humor. Yeah, very dry.
Yeah, I would say that's the thing, and most of these guys, like if they take our advice,
True. I mean, I think Norway has Martin Odegaard. That's about it.
Yeah,
and Josh King.
Yeah,
you're right.
King, but I think the American sports fan, like some of these guys, if we tell them to go out and watch some of the film, probably will flock to Mbappe just because he's a little more flashy. That's more the style of game he plays. Not saying Haaland's not. Haaland has some flash in him for a big striker up the middle, but there's definitely a little more flash and pizzazz in the type of game Mbappe just plays. I mean, that's just the style. So that might sway people to think one way or another.
Right. Tommy says he thinks he disagrees to the poll. I'm going to go. Go with disagree. You really can't go wrong, I think. It's one of those where it's like, it could go either way depending on what happens in their, what team they go to. Again, like
in reality, we're not gonna have an answer to this question for about 10 years, so maybe longer. The way
True.
these, both these guys again, subpar, sub 23-year-old players, guys with hopefully long careers ahead of both of them.
Absolutely.
And it should be an exciting watch. You said I'd like.
I have a stand. It's just doesn't. The way I'm situated, I have a terrible space in my apartment in Philly. It's just I'm sitting on basically like an ottoman, and it just doesn't. Like if I had the stand, it'd be like up here. I don't know. I like control.
Bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Yeah, all the time. Trust me. Let's see. Lord Walker, sir, good morning. Guten Morgen, as the Germans would say. Other than for cash, why would a player want to come to a team who has two? I know. It's the poke. Trust me, it's I've kind of teased my Tuchel situation, and especially this morning, handling of a certain, Callum Hudson-Odoi. He comes on for, Tammy after being hurt, comes on for maybe a half hour, then he gets subbed again off. And they ask him after in the presser saying, why did you sub him off? He said, well, his body language, and he wasn't doing what I asked him to do. And I think this is where, again, an age thing, Brian's like, no, tough love. If you're not doing what I told you to do, you're going to go right back on the bench. And me, my millennial heart is like, that's arrogant. Like one, you just walked into this team not even a month taking over in charge, and you're coming in there with your balls on the table and your dick out saying, hey, this is my goddamn team. He did it in the first game by sitting Mason Mount. After Mason Mount didn't cry, but he had his support, and, Frank Lampard was his boy. And he was like, what? He came in, dick in hand. He was like, you know what, Mason? This is my team now. I'm the captain.
And who's been the most explosive, hardest working player on that Chelsea team since Tuchel's taken over?
Again,
it's not on the coach, it's on the players to respond to tough coaching. If you can't, then you shouldn't play sports. Period.
That part I can agree with. But I mean, to be a good manager, you have to actually be a buddy almost with a player, and you got to know which players you can push in that regard by the tough love, like he's doing with Cho, like he did with Mason, and some players that'll impact them negatively.
Yeah, but he gave Hudson-Odoi starts from the jump. He's given him opportunity after opportunity to show him something out there. And clearly what he wanted today, because I can tell you, and I mean, in any sport, soccer especially, when you're coming onto the pitch, especially at halftime, you're coming on for a guy, who maybe is underperforming a little bit in Abraham, and you're given a job. You're told, I need you to do this, this, and this. Mm-hmm. And in 30 minutes, he's sitting there watching, and you haven't done any of them. And your body language looks poor, before that game gets out of hand and you lose a game to Southampton that you can't afford to lose right now, you got to get somebody else in there with some spark. And it is what it is, and you don't want to do that. Like, I get what Tim Howard said. I got to give him 45 minutes. You got to give him the full 45. You know what? You don't. Not when you have this extra sub now too for concussion protocol. You don't. You can't afford to drop points in that game. This isn't the Southampton from 2 months ago. This is a 13th place Southampton team right now. That's a team you should be beating if you're Chelsea.
It's just, again, he's German. I understand Germans have zero heart, and they're just very tough people. And maybe the way they say things and go about things is very just tough-lovey. But to me, in that press conference after the game, he just sounded like an arrogant prick.
Because he's a footballer. Man, you got to have a short memory. When you play sports, you have to have a short memory, and that's all he's trying to say. He'll forget about it. That's what that's why he's so loose about it. Like, hey, he'll forget about it. That's what he's hoping. He should use it now. Use it as motivation. Go out there, work harder, do what your coach asks you to do. Because in reality, like I told you in the group text, you say, you might lose this whole team in the first month, but guess what? If they've put in what they want to Tuchel for the next 18 months, then Roman's going to buy him a new team. If he says, hey, I want this guy out, he's got the right owner to do so.
Well, Well,
right now he's weeding through the guys that have heart and the guys that want to play. I mean, if you look after when Hudson-Odoi and Tammy were sitting next to each other, that eye roll tells it all. I mean, those guys don't want to play for Tommy Tuchel, and that's okay because guess what? They're probably guys that aren't going to play for Tommy Tuchel.
We see it already right now with basically basically Tuchel is doing the exact opposite of what Frank Lampard did or played. Like Marquee Alonso was basically dead in the water. Career was over at Chelsea under Frank Lampard, and all of a sudden he's starting over Ben Chilwell, who Ben Chilwell didn't exactly have a terrible season up to this point. And he can't even get any games. And Ben Chilwell's way better than Alonso. Like, let's be real. That's still a ridiculous.
I wouldn't be making that move. No, I'm not supporting Tom Tuchel's coaching per se and his selection of players. I'm just supporting the tough love aspect of sports, and that some of these guys we coddle way too much nowadays. And at the end of the day, we're all human beings, but sometimes it's not about your feelings because your feelings are affecting the feelings of 18 other guys. So if you're not going out there and giving everything, you know what? Those other guys that have been for the last 90 minutes, they're upset. They're going to go to the coach and say, why do you keep putting this guy out there? He's not hustling the balls. He's not going after 50-50s. He's not covering his man. So now you're not losing one guy, you're losing everybody. Sometimes you got to, I hate to say it, but you got to sacrifice that one guy's feelings for the best of the team. You see it right here. We just went through it in this city. Sometimes you got to do what's best for the team, whether you agree or disagree.
I think there's other ways he could have gone about. And I'm kind of with Timmy Howard. It's at least give him the rest of the game. If he was doing that badly or his body language was shitty, why even put him in that situation? It's not. They don't even play the same position. Like he subbed in for Tammy. Because he had a job he wanted him to do. That's what I'm saying. He had a job. He didn't want him to go in for Tammy and just be a striker. That's not his job. He now had a job. Timo was now moving to another position. He was given a job by his coach, and he wasn't performing that job. So he was pulled from the game. Oh, don't worry, Greg. That happened at Chelsea, too. They shot the wrong guy, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I didn't say which guy I just said the circumstances.
It always starts at the top, Greg. We know this.
You best believe my troll self is ordering that number 11 Colts jersey.
You and everybody else.
You know it.
Just going back, Evan asked, who would you compare these guys to from current greats? He thought Louis and Haaland is pretty close, and then Ibra, Mbappe, Neymar. I mean, they are a little different. I think Haaland he's tall, lanky guy. He'll hold up play, but he's also fast as shit. Like, he'll run in behind you, and he's deadly, actually, within a certain... Like, if you give him that left-footed shot, it's most likely going in the net. Like, he doesn't miss a lot of opportunities, which is great. He's clinical. That's what you want as a striker, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
he's not as much of a creator.
No. He's not a creator. He's not... Mbappe definitely is more silky with the ball at his feet, I would say. We saw that in the Barcelona game this week. Yeah. That one goal, just chopping people up and then, taking it on his right into his left foot and just blasting it, top bins. But yeah, I think Louis would be good because Louis is a good hold up guy, but he's also like deceptively quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mbappe, I think he's got a little Neymar flair to him. Doesn't throw himself to the ground like Neymar does.
No, he's way sturdier too. I mean, he's built a little.
Not as much of a diva as Neymar, but
yeah, I mean they're all a little diva. When you're that good, yeah.
You gotta have that swag.
Yeah, Tommy asked who the best player in the world is. Man, that is. I
mean, we've kind of had this, and I think it's a two-horse race.
Right now, we're in the changing of a guard, though. We are in the point of where Messi and Ronaldo. I mean, again, Father Time. We see it in every sport. Father Time is undefeated. No matter how far you stretch him, he always gets that win. So we are getting up there for both of those guys, and there are guys again. Like the two that are in our poll question that are, in that next wave. I wouldn't say they're quite there yet. I would say, there's some guys that have kind of been doing it too. I mean, you forget, I know Lord Walker will be happy with it, but guys like Mo Salah, who's just been consistent over the last couple of years and has been the leader, the leading scorer, the leading kind of everything on one of the more successful teams in the last few years. It's hard to leave him out of the bunch. Then you have the world stage 2, which we discussed. So you got to kind of throw that in. I mean, technically right now, the number one guy in my mind has been Lev, just because he's kind of the unofficial Ballon d'Or winner, considering they didn't really give it out. But it's pretty much, I mean, he's now the number one scorer. He's breaking records all over, Champions League, Bundesliga. Although Bayern is losing today. Sorry, Eric, for pretty much guaranteeing a Bayern win this morning.
I feel like we give Eric terrible betting advice recently. I told him, hey, take Sevilla in this clash against Dortmund. Dortmund sucks. Whoops. Sorry.
I gave two good ones in the Benfica Arsenal draw, and the two women's little tournament games. I was right.
I saw you throwing out the She Believes bets.
Yeah, little She Believes bets. Brazil, USA.
Yeah, congrats to the U.S. women's national team getting a 1-0 win over Canada. Rose Lavelle.
That one
out. She's a beauty. Love her.
Yeah, Alex Morgan's return. Nice to see.
And apparently the coach was unhappy with the performance.
I would be.
I mean, Canada's not terrible in women's.
They're not terrible, but you got to win that game more than 1-0.
And I was talking women's soccer.
There you go.
Ritter, what's up, man? Make sure you guys check out
Team Butters. I got my votes in.
Make sure you guys check out Ritz and the boys tonight. Was it 10 o'clock, correct? I think.
Yeah, because Ritter's got Texas time.
Yes.
And again,
Texas time.
Hopefully everybody, I know he's good down there, but prayers and everything to everybody that's dealing with what they're dealing with down there.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Really happy my kids are back in Jersey for the last few months now. So
10:30, but who's counting?
Oh, Sorry, 10:30.
I thought it was 10. My fault. But yes, please watch that. Team Butters, Team Ritz.
He does enough himself. Yeah. Team Butters, let's go.
Hey, you know what? Remember we had this talk. We're all supporting each other, right?
We're all supposed to support each other. Like we said in the beginning of this show, all the great shows on A2D. Like, subscribe. It's really easy. Like, if you're going to take the time to watch, just click the button, man. Just click the button.
True. Greg said Rose could use a bit of a tan, but on the pitch she's great. Agreed. She is my she's like the Kevin De Bruyne of women's soccer.
Well, she was playing over there too, so
I know. Forest City, right?
I believe so.
There you go. She is.
And then got out. I think she left. I know a lot of them are leaving because unfortunately they weren't getting the time too, because over there they're kind of losing favor to some that may be on the English national team and things such as that. A little bit of favoritism being played. So a lot of these girls were over there as a stint while the NWSL was kind of on a hiatus, just to keep getting touches and playing. So a lot of them will be coming back as well, just like Alex is. So
yeah, it's kind of like the WNBA, and since unfortunately the pay isn't the same as the men's, they almost have to do like a double season.
Yeah,
they'll play here, and then their clubs release them and allow them to play to keep that money flowing in.
Yeah, unfortunately, Evan, I don't think we will ever see such a thing.
You know what? I would have loved to see that, but that move probably should have already happened if it didn't. I would have said that about Royce too, but his injuries kept him out of that conversation to jump to the Prem, because now it's both guys I think are 32 or 33, maybe Lev and Royce, and I don't think the Lev has a better shot. I think maybe he could give it a go, but honestly, because Lev is still one of the best strikers in the world, but it would be tough to jump. Yeah, he's comfy. He's winning 10 titles in a row at freaking Bayern. Like
Lev has one more stop, and we all know it. He's going back to Dortmund when he's 36 and can't play anymore. Come on.
Yeah, when we offer him $60 million.
Yeah, it's a nostalgia move.
overspend.
Yeah.
God damn it! What a joke. What a joke this team has become. And I still
Speaking of jokes, Eddie, you're 100% right. Charlotte FC. First of all, Charlotte FC, the first MLS team to come out with a PSL, a personal seat license, just like some American sports. So that's already a black eye on Charlotte FC for just coming hard and looking like such an American-owned sports team coming out with this PSL.
We love money.
Yeah, and then on top of it, the prices in it's just good luck. Good luck. Good thing we don't have pro rel in this country.
We didn't even play one game yet in Charlotte, and it's already
they have some of the highest price tickets in the entire MLS.
When you're not even going to make the playoffs at all. So,
not from what I've seen, they've done so far. But
fun with that.
That Austin FC team's looking pretty good though.
Yeah, making some good moves. That'll be that's coming up.
Don't know how that new stadium held up through all this though. I know Austin got hit pretty hard, so I don't know. Haven't heard too much, but they just had that brand new ground built. Hopefully, it was built with some kind of
let's hope and pray. But yeah, we have that coming up too. They announced as kind of a sidebar, MLS April 17th.
Yeah, we're back.
Games. Well, also the Union, for all my Philly Union boys out there, the CONCACAF Champions League draw. Not to confuse people with the Champions League of UEFA,
Europe.
But we're going to draw Saprissa out of Costa Rica. At least two-leg series.
Exciting.
Yeah. Fun times.
We need to get to some games.
Of course. So we've reached our half-hour mark. We got to give a shout-out to Body Check Wellness. We've pretty new sponsor. Like we said, Riley Cote, former Flyer, is involved with this. As we know, comfort, recovery, keeping the body, actually holistic stuff. There's hemp is being
All about it.
The big driver of, recovery these days, and Body Check Wellness is jumping on that train. They have the extracts, the blends, the gummies, the topicals, the ointments. You rub that, on anything that gets sore. I have tried the hemp creams, but not from Body Check, and the hemp actually does work. It really does work. You can use the promo code A2D. You could get 20% off of your order. You can check them out, bodycheckwellness.com. They have a bunch of different products. I'm sure there's something that will suit one for you. I know I'm going to go on. I still need to get on that. Strike while the iron is hot. And, with all the shoveling, like we said.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'm in big need between the shoveling and getting back in the gym finally here. I'm definitely in need to check them out. So I'm going to be ordering. So I know the gummies have been very popular. The topicals sound fantastic. So
yeah, just it's a good sponsor to have, especially in the age where hemp is pretty much taking over, and we're seeing, the medical marijuana and all that good stuff being, it's just as good of a recovery thing as, an over-the-counter product, maybe even better.
Yeah.
So
better for you. Body, we're all about body and mind here at A2D, and it's good to see the sponsorships kind of, following suit. And again, too, if, anybody else as well that's out there listening, you have a business, you want to become a sponsor for A2D, you want to become a sponsor just for a specific show, a segment on a show, there's a lot of options available. You can reach out to us. You can reach out to Tom himself, and kind of let you know what could be done. So we appreciate all the sponsors we currently have, and anybody else that would love to join, we would love to have you. So
yeah, last report, I don't know how this is going, but Manscaped is, I think, going to give us a little trial run.
Sounds like that may be happening as well. So that's
if you guys are into manscaping and trimming that bush, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get on the Manscaped game, boys. We're going to be in there.
2021. You got to take care of yourselves, guys.
That's true. I mean, who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Also, just to piggyback off that and sponsors, I know I mentioned this to Brian last week off air, but we've made a team, our Kickin' It Stateside think tank brainstorming team. We are going to be probably getting going. We want to throw this out to the fans, and especially the gamers out there. What would you guys think about if we did kind of like a FIFA 21 simulation of maybe the game of the week each week? Say this week you either have the Arsenal Man City game we'd throw up on maybe like a Friday night, stream it to our Twitch channel, or even the Merseyside Derby, something like that. Even make some predictions and maybe win some prizes, just something to get you, the fans, kind of involved a little bit.
Might even learn some players.
Yeah. We're trying to get that in the works. We're having a website built for us. That's in the works as well. Also, we are going to be coming up with some sort of logo, kind of like a crest, saying we are, hey, Kickin' It Stateside FC. Coming up with, what would fit us, what would be on the crest of Kickin' It Stateside, that kind of model about like after us. And I think we're going to have a contest amongst the fans to pick a little part of said crest, and we're going to have that be a part of the final product, so that, you know, the fans, we love you guys. Obviously, we wouldn't be where we are now. We do it for you guys, and to give it back and to have you be a part of us and a part of the crest, I think would be pretty cool. So it's just some of these ideas we've been kind of like mulling over. We want to take this thing to the next level, obviously, not just as A2D, as far as getting guests and promotions, but, you know, for us too, to try and make us better. You know, we're approaching almost 2 years doing this damn thing, which is crazy. I can't believe it's been that long already. So
yeah,
we're just trying to take
we've
this
come a
thing,
long way, man. But yeah,
we really have, not to be all sentimental and shit, but it's crazy.
Yeah,
so
I learned with everything, man. Patience is key, and you know, we've been through a lot. There's been a lot of ups and downs since this all started, and
oh my god,
but we've definitely come a long way, and I love the growth that we're getting, and I just want to, you know, keep going. And like you said, it all goes back to everybody out there, and without them, we're just two guys sitting here talking. So, you know, the interaction and the fan, you know, following is fantastic, and we really love having you guys. And, you know, please, you know, invite friends, invite people that you know that love this game, that have the same passion for the game that we do, because that's ultimately the goal here.
Yeah. Again, this is a safe space for, you know, if you're talking with your friends or you're afraid to talk soccer because they don't give a shit, which happens a lot with me. You can come here on our show and you can be in the chat. You could even come on. We're always open to having people come on the show. Like Lord Walker, he was like one day, hey, I'd like to come on. Of course, man. Anytime you want. Julio, we'd love to get Julio back on.
Yeah, Julio was supposed to come on a couple weeks ago, and then something fell through on our end, but we'll get him back on, especially now, because I'm sure he's not a happy camper either.
Yeah, it's a good time to talk to Chelsea fans as myself. Again, other things I think in the works, definitely getting some guests. I think as the MLS season approaches, I think I might try and reach out to the boys at the Sons of Ben podcast, President Matt, and the guy you see shouting and screaming his face off every match day, Adam Booth, who will probably try and get them on, you know, as a nice little MLS preview and get them talking about what's going on with the SOBs and stuff. I think that would be neat.
Nice. Yeah, I might be able to get some of the Empire Supporter Club guys on too, being they're in my Facebook group. So, yeah, we really got to start getting some of these guys on. And
yeah, Kevin Casey, announcer. I'm sure we could get him on, announcer, PA guy at the Philadelphia Union and at Penn.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one.
He does some college basketball in the city too. Yeah,
he does. Marissa Pilla would be great.
Yes.
Covering NWSL for ESPN, and Penn for PSN and ESPN. So that'd be pretty dope. So again, good things to come. I know a lot of people are like, what's going on with you guys? What's new? Like, what can we expect for 2021? We'll just laid it out for y'all. So
yes.
I'm glad. Eddie, you think that'd be cool? I think so too. The simulation I think would be neat. I know we were doing that with the Eagles. We had a show during the Eagles season that kind of had that simulation the night before. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Get the peeps involved. But so before we get into a little more Champions League talk, some of the Prem going down. Obviously, we had the game this morning. We had Chelsea draw Southampton 1-1. We kind of gave our thoughts about that. And then currently in the 57th minute, we got Burnley and West Brom, and that is currently 0-0.
Yeah, and West Brom's been playing a man down since the 30th minute here, so Burnley really needs to find a way to capitalize on this one.
And it's good to see Ben Mee. I forget who said that he got stretchered off last week. I think the guy from the Merseyside guy last week, right? What was his name?
Yeah.
Paul?
Mm-hmm.
Said something about he got stretchered off, so
It was kind of a not very exciting game. One own goal in favor of Wolves, so they took a 1-0 win and get some much-needed points on their end.
it was not a good Leeds performance. Let's put it lightly.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess on the Wolves end, it was good to see Traore. They played him up top. I think it was like a false 9. They kind of threw him in like a striker position, and he seemed to be actually more involved. And he had that beautiful strike that led to the own goal. So maybe that's what they should do with Jimenez being out probably for the rest of the season. And Podence, I think, is still hurt too. So they need some help scoring. It can't be all Pedro Neto. So.
Yeah. Willian Jose has not really quite got his legs under him yet, I guess, in the Prem either.
Yeah, and they paid all that money for Fabio Silva, and he's gotten very little run out this year.
Yeah, he's still young. And I know Espirito Santo basically had commented, and it wasn't in his initial plans for that kid to get much playing time at all this year.
No.
It was kind of going to be a sit
only 18.
behind Jimenez and learn type thing. He had to get thrown to the Wolves. Played okay. Probably not quite ready yet, so that's probably why they made that move for Willian Jose and trying to just get a little depth in there. But they'll be fine in the grand scheme of things. They've gone through a lot in the last couple of years now with getting back to the Prem, staying competitive in the Prem, getting into some European competitions and staying a little deeper into some of them. So that tends to happen to these teams as they get back up and, they start playing more and more. It's harder to sustain, I guess. So you expect a little bit of drop off, but I don't see them not, they'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, we talked about this last week, I think, with, Nuno being the manager. I don't see them slipping that much down the table.
No.
But I guess a little Champions League talk, kind of, and some of the games that are coming up this week.
Yeah, what we saw and what we got. We definitely got a lot coming up, so...
Obviously, we kind of mentioned two of them. Tuesday, PSG beat Barcelona 4-1. Wow. Didn't expect that at Nou Camp. Mbappe, our topic of conversation, scored a hat trick for PSG. Is the Messi era over at Barcelona? What's up?
I feel like it's been over since.
Is this done? Is Barcelona done? Because they have a lot of young guys and a lot of older gentlemen on their team with all Jordi Alba, PK is getting old, Busquets is getting old, Messi's obviously getting up there. Like times are changing at Barcelona, it seems. And you got Pedri, his bright spot, Ansu Fati, another starlet that will probably have a pretty decent career. But yeah, I think it's changing of the guards at Barcelona. Getting beat that badly at home to a PSG team is I don't know. That's pretty telling.
Yo, Chucks, what's up, man? And Levi, what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining us.
Popping like over red Barca.
Levi says the Messi era's been over since Neymar left in my mind. I don't disagree with that. I mean,
yeah, that's not too off.
Yeah, if you go back and kind of look what Barca's done since then, I mean, it's been relatively uneventful for the most part. I think Messi definitely has been in search of that help. And they've brought different guys in, and no one's quite given him that. And now with Suarez gone, that seemed to be the best guy that he's linked up with since Neymar left. Now it just looks completely different. Like, yeah, every time you look at a Barca score, all you see is anytime they score, it's Messi. And usually lately it's been even a PK. A lot of it hasn't even been in the run of play.
Yeah.
So they're just not getting anything anywhere else. They seem to have a lot of little turmoil going on in there, and like you said, they're definitely getting up there in age. The Griezmann thing has not worked out. Dembele, I have no idea what's going on with him. I thought he was long gone, and he's still there, but he seems disinterested. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's next in the future of Messi here. There's so much speculation and so much talk, and it was going to be this, and now it's not that. And at the end of the day, the only thing he's ever shown us is he continues to find a way to stay at Barca. They find a way to make things work, and until I see anything leaning otherwise, I don't know. I have a feeling another coach could be gone before he's gone, but at the same time, he might just finally say, hey, I'm tired of the critics saying I've only played one place, and let me go finish my career somewhere else. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't tell me that Ronald Koeman isn't a stopgap to somebody. Like, oh, is that the best option you really had? Because Frankie de Jong maybe is on the squad. Like, come on. Like, and you're trying to get Gini Wijnaldum in there too. Like, what are you doing?
Well, we know it's not going to be Thierry Henry as the coach because all signs are pointing to
the Cherries, right?
How about that?
What would make Bournemouth be like, you know what? I've seen his coaching pedigree, and it's really, really good.
Me.
That's terrible.
It's all
he's shown nothing to say that I'm going to be a great manager in the championship. No,
I mean has he kind of changed the culture in Montreal a little bit? Absolutely,
sure, a little bit.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't quite understand unless it's just a straight PR move. And they figure at this point, I mean, what else can we do? They're not getting back up this year, unless an absolute miracle happens. So yeah, I mean, that's about all it seems like.
Say it's Ford to try and put like fans in the seats. It doesn't even matter this year. They're not going to have people in the seats anyway.
No, but maybe
that'd be the only thing I would be like, okay, PR move. Let's get this.
Well, maybe they need fans. They probably need fans on TV. I mean, they need something. They probably need some kind of ratings. They got to be just leaking money left and right now. With
they've been a mess.
Moving down and yeah,
they've been a mess. So. They've ever since This is a case where you think the grass is greener on the other side. You fire Eddie Howe, thinking he's going to maybe, he was the issue, or maybe that's going to change things around. And it's completely gone to shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they have, I guess, I can't say they're pretty. They have a shot, an outside shot to make a run at that last playoff spot, I guess. But that's, I don't necessarily see it.
But even with Josh King, he's loaned out to Everton, right?
I don't even know where he is.
I think I just saw him play at Everton this week.
Did he?
I think so. I think they loaned him to Everton.
Yeah, he's I'm gonna pull. I don't even know who's left on Bournemouth's squad. I know they have Begovic still in goal. That's about it.
Junior Stanislas.
Yeah, Steve Cook's still there. Oh, Jackie Wilshere's there. I forgot. Jackie Wilshere's there on loan. Yeah. Shane Long's there on a loan playing striker. I forgot that. Or maybe it was a full signing. Yeah, they're thin. Philip Billing hasn't really panned out to be much of anything. Another Denmark kid. But yeah,
Davy Brooke.
Looking at this roster here, it's Jefferson Lerma's still there.
Yikes.
Where's he been? Yeah. Remember a couple years ago, he was looking like one of the best, like young up and coming, like CDMs in the Premier League, and
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Gone. Yeah, I mean, he was on that Colombian. I believe he was on that Colombian team with James too. That made the run in the World Cup again. Another guy that maybe got a little bit
Make
more.
your name.
Yeah,
That's where Yuri Mina got his big name start too.
Yeah, good old Yuri Mina,
the tall bastard.
And actually, Bournemouth is now currently trailing QPR 1-0. So that's
Cherries are in trouble.
Yeah.
So I can't forget about my Mighty Reds fans. You got a win. You beat Leipzig. Again, I think everybody could have seen this happening. I mean, people say that, oh, be careful for Leipzig. They're a tough squad. But it's like, really? Like, they're not that good. Like, a good Premier League side should be able to beat any German team beside that's not named Bayern mostly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You get the 2-0 win on the road. You're probably sitting pretty for that second leg. Leipzig's got to come out and attack you. And that's going to open up that counter, and it's going to be a tough one. And hey, good for Liverpool. They need some kind of momentum, especially going into today. Today at 12:30, the Merseyside Derby we got.
Yeah.
So any little motivation, any little, kick in the ass, maybe that will get them started. I don't know.
We said their main focus at this point now, with what's been going on, definitely needs to be Champions League.
Win the Champions League, yeah.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to slip too far out of where you need to be in the Prem either. In case you don't win Champions League to ensure yourself a return there the following year. But the main focus does need to be there and try to salvage something out of what has been kind of a tough season. And yeah, we talked about the Merseyside Derby. This is going to be an interesting game because they talked about it a little bit this morning. I'm very intrigued to see how these players approach Jordan Pickford. Because if Jordan Pickford is anybody but a goalie, there's a bounty on his head today.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you can't put a bounty on a goalie's head because the first moment you do something, especially with now the history, you're out of this game. So you can't afford, you can't afford, but you got to be there when you're in corner situations and things like that. You got to be in there just jabbing them a little bit and getting everything you can when you can outside of the eyes of the referee in this game. And Liverpool needs to come out and make a statement at home in this game. They need to win this game. Regardless of how it's going to help the rest of their Prem season, this is that game that could even spark them for more of a run in Champions League and kind of unite this team that's kind of been thrown together due to injury.
Yeah, and I think that, Jordan Pickford, it's almost like how the mighty have fallen a little bit. He's like, the England number one, and the past 2 years, really, he's kind of been like kind of suspect out there, and, some of the things he's said and just not like rubbing even Everton fans the wrong way. Like we were talking to Paul last week, a true, Evertonian. He was even saying like, "Oh, you guys could have Pickford. We'll sell him to you." Like the mighty has fallen.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of competition at that English goalkeeper spot too.
We talk about that ad nauseum.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough for him, but it's one of those games that Everton has not been very successful in against Liverpool whatsoever recently. It's been very one-sided. So to say that Everton can come away with a win is like, doesn't happen.
I'm sure Tim Howard will think so.
Of course. He has to. He has to back up the team that he played for.
They got to stop putting so much sheen in his beard on my Premier League mornings.
It's tough. It's blinding.
I don't know who's on wardrobe over there, but
his veneers are just so white too.
Yeah.
I'm like, my goodness, they really gave you the full complement of teeth, the fake ones.
Oh, yeah.
The fake chompers, just weird. But that's enough Tim Howard bashing.
Yeah, so that was the greatest goalie to ever play for the United States.
Yeah, by far.
Out here killing them. Yeah, so those were the first two. Third, what do we have? When were the next two? No, those were
Wednesday, Porto, and
Wednesday.
Monday.
I'm sorry, Wednesday. Porto, not surprising.
No, Juve's struggled in big moments in Champions League. Obviously, last year they lost to Lyon. When they shouldn't have, probably. And then this year, you get a good draw. You get Porto. You think it's pretty doable, and then they give up a goal in, the first, 2 minutes?
Yeah. It literally was at the 2-minute mark.
And you get, a late one to make the, return leg in Turin maybe a little interesting.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
still,
at least you get a road goal. Yeah.
They've been in this position, again, against Lyon. Lyon got a 1-0 win at home and then had to go to Turin and hold down the fort, and they did. And Juve came up small. And right now I feel like history is going to repeat itself.
Yeah.
I think Porto might do the damn thing.
Go on the road and handle their business.
Hey, sit in there.
Yeah. One goal might do it. All you got to do is you either sit in there or you grab one. You just get out there and grab your one, and you might be okay.
Are Juve too depending on Ronaldo? It seems every time he has the ball, the rest of the squad is watching. Probably. I mean, besides that, who's really an offensive threat? Dybala?
Yeah, I guess Morata, but they seem to play best together, and that doesn't seem to be happening as much. So,
again, this might rub a lot of people the wrong way, but I think the Italian league is not that great. It used to be.
Oh yeah,
not so much anymore. I don't know.
No,
it's pretty much like the
Bundesliga.
Bundesliga. It's one team that always just runs away with it. It's so top heavy. Maybe it's a little different this year. With obviously Inter is a lot better than they have in recent years. I think AC Milan's actually decent too. That's actually today.
That's a
Derby.
monster game today.
So AC Milan fans showed up to practice yesterday to support the boys. That's pretty sweet.
Ibra versus Lukaku.
Ooh, some drama.
Yeah.
Big time.
So that should be a good game. The biggest thing we want some success, I guess, for Juventus, just for McKinney's, standpoint, but
exactly. Very defensive Italian game.
Yeah. I did watch the Fiorentina game the other day, though. That was...
See, I just can't. It's tough.
I just like the purple kits. Thought they were fresh.
It's a tough league to watch. I don't know.
It was on.
It's on.
You wake up sometimes from your nap when a goal gets scored.
ESPN Plus has it all the time.
Yeah, no, there's some good ball in there, but as a whole, yeah, it's definitely not a top league in my book at this point either.
Doesn't turn the crank.
No.
The other one on Tuesday, we had Dortmund getting a nice road win in Seville, 3-2 over
Huge.
Sevilla. Jesus.
3 road goals.
You're sitting pretty there.
Yeah, you should be set up for advancement there.
But Dortmund's terrible defensively, so I would not be surprised if they gave up 2 goals at home.
Yeah. Which they cannot afford to lose 2-0 because that would put them in the negative as far as aggregate goes. So
that damn late goal really just was like, oh, I'm like 3-1 going into it. That's pretty. You're sitting pretty much like, okay, this is good. This is what you wanted, a nice 2-goal lead headed into the second leg, and then that late one by goddamn Luke de Jong just killed my momentum.
Good old Luke de Jong.
Oh, we don't forget about Rangers. You guys barely beat Antwerp.
I did pick them, and
I said don't sleep on Antwerp. I was gonna say don't sleep on Antwerp, but I bit my tongue.
Hey, they held their own. A 4-3.
What a game! What a game!
Yeah, back and forth battle there. Antwerp coming off probably one of their biggest wins, against Spurs earlier this season or last season or whatever the hell that was. So
didn't they win the group?
I think they ended up winning the group.
I think Antwerp won the grouping.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Rangers did get a big win there, 4-3. But they still got some work cut out for them.
Don't sleep on Antwerp.
My Arsenal team's got some work cut out for them. They're lucky to salvage a draw.
Very lucky.
Bukayo Saka, again, just bailing Arsenal out.
Yep, Mr. Save him. Mr. Save your girl.
Yeah, and I was hassling Eddie about Reece James missing a sitter today. Aubameyang as well kind of let his boys down this week. So,
well, I also said
no time like the present.
Yeah, you're right.
Turn around tomorrow.
And we'll get into that tussle.
They're undefeated when it's hanging. When the jersey's hanging, they're undefeated. When I put it on, they can't do anything. So it's just staying there.
You jinx them.
It's
straight jinx.
Yep, it's staying right there.
All right. So Tuesday we got two more Champions League games. We got Atletico hosting Chelsea, and then Lazio hosting the Bayern Munich boys in Italy. So, thoughts?
Chelsea.
So that Atletico Chelsea match has draw written all over it. I'm saying 1-1 probably because both teams just love. It's going to be hard fought. It's going to be two feisty dickhead managers going at it. Defensive minded, both of them, and it's going to be probably a little bit of a snoozer. I'm really hyping this game up, as you can tell. I think it's going to be a draw. It has draw written all over it. Nobody's going to want to make the mistake. I think Chelsea's going to be happy to just kind of sit back and do their thing and hopefully get a draw and head home, sitting pretty.
I'm going to have to disagree on that one. And not just to stir the pot or to be, negative on your boys right now, but
never.
I mean, Atletico, number one team in La Liga right now. Again, yes, they have a history, especially under Simeone, of kind of sitting back and kind of, but that counter's been pretty good for that team. And what I've seen out of Chelsea's defense of recent, I don't know. I mean, you got Atletico not only leading La Liga, but they're also leading in goal differential. So they're not going to let you let up. You're 100% right on that. They haven't been scoring in big clips, but I don't know. I could see this being like a 2-1, 3-1 Atletico victory.
Whoa.
I could see them opening up some things here on the counter. I could see them getting some things going. I could see Luis Suarez with a brace.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I hate to say it, but they're just right now, they're just night and day a better team. I know, You know, they've had a few draws of recent, but they've also had a few games in the last like 2 months where they've put up 4, they've put up 3. They can score some goals when need be, and I don't know. I don't see anybody on that defense right now. Especially, I don't know what pairing you're going to run out there because the pairing you had today didn't look so hot. You know, with Rudiger and Zuma.
Never is.
Zuma made a late mistake that could have been very costly in that game, and you got away with one there. I don't know. It should be interesting, but I wouldn't put anything past Atletico taking this thing, especially at home.
We'll see.
We shall see.
What's up, Pove? Pove wants to know any good plays for this Merseyside Derby.
Oh, we want to play some sneaky DFS plays for the Derby. Well,
any good insider tips?
We have lineups, so let's see what we got here. Just taking a quick look.
I don't know. I still say Liverpool.
I mean, Liverpool's
To
front
me.
3, I'm sure, in DFS are extremely expensive. So if you had to not pick all 3, maybe throwing in 2 of 3 Liverpools and like a Luca Digne wouldn't be a bad play. He's getting a start in a very interesting 4-5-1 that they're playing. Calvert-Lewin is not. That's why I'm going with this. You actually have Richarlison starting at striker, which another one. Richarlison plays his best ball at striker, in my opinion. So if you're looking for a little bit lesser guy there, you probably could get a big discount versus Firmino, but you may be getting a discount for a reason.
He has been scoring too.
Yeah,
Richarlison.
I mean Bobby Blue. Yeah, he has, but Bobby Blue Eyes has been on a tear too as far as assisting and scoring. I mean, he's been playing very well. So, yeah, maybe you find Richarlison, Salah, and Firmino up top or something like that. Decore could be a cheap fill in the midfield.
Is Gylfi playing?
Gylfi is not. So you have up top, you have Digne, Richarlison, James. And then you have Gomez, Tom Davies, and Decore. Even though that's technically a 5-man midfield. It's kind of weird how they have that set up. And then you have Godfrey, Keane, Holgate, Coleman with Pickford in goal. On the Liverpool side, you have the big 3 up top. And then you have Jones, Wijnaldum, and Thiago. And then you have Trent, Robertson, Henderson playing center back again with Kabak, which I don't know about this whole Henderson and center back thing. Lord Walker, he's here. You know, I'd like to hear what your thoughts are, but I feel like you're actually hurting Henderson by putting him back there.
I just don't know what options you really have.
I mean, I guess not, but
that's how bad it's been. Center back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking here. Ben Davies isn't really a center back at this point. Samikas is really not a center back. Yeah, I guess it's your best option. So,
what's up, Wills? Bodie Talk back again. Gambling corner. Hammer Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think.
Man, I keep looking. I don't know. Like that center back pairing. I'm waiting for Lord Walker to answer because that center back pairing today scares the hell out of me if I'm a Liverpool fan.
It always scares me. It always scares me.
I'll give an answer, but I'll be a little bit lengthy. No, you. The man is not ever short of detail. Let's say that. He
Damn it, Eric. Why
I
can't you
can't
say?
say. I know. He's got to work, so.
I'm just kidding.
But, Pope, I hope that helped. I hope it helped a little bit. I generally don't play daily in soccer just because you got to be so ready because lineups come out like an hour ahead of time. I mean, most of our sports in this country, you pretty much know 100% when guys are going to be starting, not starting, things like that. The sport's a little bit more difficult, you know. There could be a guy that you would think 100% is starting, and next thing you know, he's not even in the 18. So
now, other fantasy.
You gotta be careful.
Guess who's climbing?
He's climbing back.
Coming. I've won 12 of 13 games. Not a big deal.
On fire.
Fuego. Sitting in third.
Yes.
I'm in Champions League spot. Knocking at the door. What up? Answer.
He sure is. This was the same guy that was ready to never play fantasy again.
I almost called it quits like a little bastard.
Thought he was going to be relegated and going to be heading up our second fantasy league going into next season. So
sitting in 16th before Christmas to sitting in third almost into March.
Hottest team in the world right now.
Oh boy. Except I picked a bad time to get matched up with our Leeds buddy who plays twice this week. I was lucky that they sucked yesterday.
Yeah, I've dropped all the way to 5th.
Table's turning.
Still leading you in points, though.
Oh yeah,
not by as much as
I would say. I'm only in second with points. You're pretty up.
Yeah,
there.
dude, you're at 992 and I'm at 1031. So you're right in the mix now for overall points as well as taking over top spot in the table. So, of
course, my father is leading the league right now.
Of course, one of the late entries.
Yeah. Well, I told him forever to get in the goddamn league. It's like a guy you got to remind him like 100 times to do shit.
Another generational gap. Tell them they need to do something on the technology end. Sometimes takes a little longer.
It was funny. He had like all these like scouting reports of all the players this year, and I'm like, hey, do it up.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm
playing our friend from South Africa this week. So
yeah, Niema.
Yeah, who has
shout out
has not set much of their lineup, which is good for me.
Which is good for me. What do you think about your Bayern guys against Lazio? Any chance Lazio wins?
I mean, I guess if today's Bundesliga performance against Frankfurt.
Oh, you lost. Suck it, freak.
Yeah.
It says a team that's sitting in like 6th in the shittiest fucking league right now.
Yeah. So the lack of effort in today's game is just only going to attribute to what's going to happen to Lazio on Tuesday. Thinking like a 3-1 road victory for Bayern.
Whoa, probably.
Yeah, let's just get those road goals and then
not
go
if
back
Ciro
home and sit
Immobile
on it.
has anything to say about it.
Oh, there's your one.
He'll get a PK call, most likely.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I see Bayern. I see Bayern
cruise control
going on the road, setting the tone, getting out of there, so then they can go back home for the second leg and sit on like a 1-0 win with a rotated squad and move on and continue their run of dominance in the world.
I'm seeing like a Louis brace. What else? We got 2 more on Wednesday. Then we got Atalanta, the feel-good story of this, against Real Madrid. in a way different Real Madrid squad this time around. It's not your mom and pop's Real Madrid.
I don't know what the line is, but if Real's favored at all, hammer Atalanta.
Maybe over 3 or 4 goals.
Yes.
The over of maybe 4. Maybe like a 3-1 Atalanta.
I haven't checked them yet, but if your over under is anything
like 3.5,
yeah, like you said, 3.5 to 4, I'll take the over all day. This Atalanta team can score. It can score in bunches.
They're so fun.
Real has not been that good. Of late. Again, I mean they're beating teams, but they're not beating much of anything. So
I'm saying I think Atalanta gets out early, gets a nice 3-1 win.
Real was lucky to get out of their group.
Yeah.
Dropping 2 games to Shakhtar.
The only win Shakhtar had in the whole goddamn group was just dismantling of Real Madrid. It's like, what? How does that work?
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I would definitely look to favor Atalanta at home in this one, without a doubt.
What about this last one? Gladbach at home against Man City. This could be bad for Gladbach.
I mean, we all know what all of us want to see, except for the few City supporters that, trickle in and out.
Some trickling.
Everybody in the world is Gladbach fans, except for City and NYCFC fans on Wednesday. Gladbach, an impressive run. I mean, what they've been doing has been phenomenal. I don't know, man. City's in rare form right now. City's playing very good right now.
Gladbach's gonna have to score like 3 this leg to probably have a shot.
The only hope is, like we say, the reversal is, City's been putting a lot of stock in the Prem, and they've been going hard in the Prem, and I mean, that's your only hope, I guess, as a Gladbach fan and as neutral fans, is that they've been putting so much into getting their climb back up into the Prem that they maybe overlook this Gladbach team.
Do we see your favorite player, KDB, in the lineup?
Yeah, there he is.
Against Gladbach.
I don't know. Is he hurt again? Is he hurt? Yeah, is that the answer to is Kevin De Bruyne hurt? Not yes, no. Yeah.
Pale Messi.
Always.
Pale Messi.
Man, I was gonna say something, but it might get me in trouble. It's 2021.
Yeah, you got to watch it.
Yeah,
say that. PC, man.
No ginger comments. Sorry.
Yeah. Lord Walker brings leadership and resurgence to take chances for our backs. Hendo brings that leadership. When healthy, he has 4-point leadership. Allison, VD, Hendo. People and pundits say Hammer Clap for not playing 2 backs, so overlook it. I mean, Allison is not exactly the spine you want right now. That's not good. Both goalies in that game are like, what the hell happened? Why is Allison like losing his shit, and then Pickford's, I don't know what he is either.
Allison's I think I can personally answer, and it's exactly everything that's on this long list of what Lord Walker panned out here was,
we gonna make that money.
You need Hendo back there for leadership and things like that, but when you're a goalie and you're used to a shutdown center back in Virgil van Dijk, and now you're getting a kind of a guy that you're being thrown into a spot to
makeshift
play a
center
position that he's it's going to make you, Allison, as a goalkeeper a little uncomfortable. And not only that, but now you got this young kid coming in there that, you know, it's a big jump from being a 20-year-old Turkish center back playing at Schalke to being, you know, a starting guy for Liverpool.
I'd rather have Zemeckis in there than Hendo.
Yeah, Zemeckis is more of like a left back, though. They've kind of leaned that way, and you know, it was a signing that with him leaning more towards left back, you kind of, I mean, I guess it gives you depth behind Robertson, but I would almost see if I could ask Robertson to play one of those center back spots and then put Zemeckis at the left back. I mean, at least he's more prone to defending. I know Jordan's a CDM by trade, but I don't know. I'm not. It's not my team. I'm not in the heart of it. But I'm not hammering Klopp. I'm just intrigued by the fact that they keep running him out there when he's way more productive in the center for you, in my opinion.
Do people hammer Klopp as much as Liverpool fans think they do?
Probably not. In reality, I mean, it seems
leadership.
Put it this way: the guy takes a lot of heat outside of the Liverpool fan base for a guy who's done nothing but win everything in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
but
they're not having this amazing season like they did last year. Sorry, they're not winning every game.
Some of it's self-inflicted because he puts himself in the position by saying certain things that maybe he doesn't. And again, we talk about it. Maybe, you know, it's a cultural thing.
It's a German thing. They're just outspoken sometimes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes he does bring it on himself. Like, he has these little quips. Even last week when he was like, is the title race over? Or do you concede? He's like, yeah.
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 And it was like, was it a sarcastic? Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know, man.
I mean, it's brutal injuries for them, but Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have rather had Aaron Long than Kabak. I don't even care if he's played at Schalke opposed to the Red Bull.
Yeah. I said it before the transfer window. I would have probably preferred, if I was in their shoes, for somebody with a little bit more I guess veteran leadership, or just somebody with a little bit more pedigree than a 20-year-old kid that, you know, up and coming,
playing for a team that's in relegation that gave up like 4 goals a game.
Yeah. I mean, I guess film tells you it's not necessarily was his fault, but
no,
he had something to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Replaced by Zakdram Mustafi.
Calling for the reinforcements with Klasinic and Mustafi.
I'm a huge Schalke fan, so let's not bad mouth Schalke.
Next, they're going to bring back Klaas-Jan Huntelaar.
Oh man, good name.
Yeah, back when he was the hunter.
Yes, but yeah, as far as Gladbach doing much, I mean, this is the leg to do it in their home. They gotta limit City's road goals. Is probably the biggest answer for them.
It's going to be like City 70 possession, Gladbach 30. Maybe try and hit them on the counter, grab something, but I think City's just too good right now. Way too good.
Yeah, and Gladbach's taking a major dip. I think they put so much into the run just to advance in here. I mean, they've dropped all the way to 8th in the Bundesliga. They have not been playing that well of lately. So
I mean, they really didn't play that well in Champions League. They destroyed Shakhtar like twice.
yeah,
I mean,
they played Madrid well, but again, it's not the same Madrid that we expect.
right. Again, I would
Yeah,
be shocked.
that runs about over.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
That's a tall order, and I don't see that being done.
Just being hopeful.
I know.
Not being realistic at the moment. Just being hopeful.
We're real, that's what we do. So we do have a final in that Burnley West Brom. It did end 0-0, which is pretty typical for a West Brom Burnley game.
They should have put that one on Peacock.
Should have. Tomorrow's all on the cock, I think.
Yeah.
Try and get you to buy it again.
Yep, again.
Come on, guys. Our main target went to Bayern Munich. Now we have to refocus and acquire someone this summer.
I love Gomez.
They're training
Gomez
again.
Is hurting.
They're lifting.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, and I don't mean to poke fun at Liverpool's situation, but
I do like that they did lose their main target to Bayern. Thanks.
Oh, that's another thing that just racks my brain that I want to ram my head through a wall.
And you know what? All the Liverpool fans can say what they want, but they have their own little feeder club in Southampton. So why don't we keep those feeder club comments to ourselves there? Because obviously Minamino is working his way back to Liverpool with another goal again today. He's got something to prove. So they just send him down so he gets time at their B team, and he's playing well. So
it's a feeder system. It's fun.
It's fun.
Everybody has one.
Liverpool light.
What's up, Pete?
Yeah, unfortunately, Arsenal's feeder system of lately has been Dortmund, but it hasn't been the right guys. It was Papa, it was Mkhitaryan. I mean, Aubameyang's kind of worked.
All right, you hit on one of three.
Yeah, Mkhitaryan's playing great at Roma.
Again, he's not a Prem player.
He was starting at striker the other day for Roma. It's crazy.
He should have just stayed, but these guys, they want to just venture off. Yeah. Now they have a little success at Dortmund. They start killing it. Gundogan is one guy. Okay, he did fantastic. Louis, another guy. Writing on the wall, he was going to be fantastic. But then it's like, all right. Aubameyang's had his, his success for sure. I wouldn't say he's been a complete failure. He's been well, but other than that, you leave for greener pastures,
Gundogan's been one of the best center midfielders in the Prem the last month.
He's been the best player in the Prem.
Right? Yeah, right.
He has been great. Everything he touches is turned to gold.
Yeah, he's definitely a top nominee for Premier League Player of the Month.
Well, someone's got to steal it from that little bastard Bruno's hands.
Yeah.
Speaking
Pete,
of
what's
that,
up, Pete?
So obviously, well, let's talk about your boys, and we'll bring it back to the Prem for this week. So tomorrow there is a triple header starting at 7, which is actually very solid. We start out with West Ham versus Spurs in a little London derby there. Then we go to Villa hosting the Foxes in Leicester. That's a good one. And then we end at 11:30 for the good triple header. Arsenal hosting Man City. That's a park your cheeks down and watch a good chunk of games, a good 6 hours.
Yeah, you can even go for the last one and root
If you're
for
United
Newcastle
fan,
to
yeah.
upset United. Yeah.
If you have no plans on a Sunday, we got you
Yeah.
covered from 7 to almost 4 o'clock
4?
tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's a
just
9-hour
leave 'em
window
running.
of straight soccer.
Yes. And there's plenty of others mixed in too, but if you strictly want to prem it,
That's the way to go.
yeah. Because in all honesty, I'll probably skip the Villa Leicester game for the Milan Derby. But yeah, I mean, phenomenal lineup of games tomorrow. The Hammers still playing pretty well. Spurs being very Spursy right now. Hopefully the Hammers can capitalize that and grab a dub there.
I mean, the first matchup between those two was, I think, 2-2.
Yeah, it was
It was a high-scoring game, I remember. Maybe even 3-3.
it was a battle. Where the hell is it? It was 3-3. It was a 3-3 draw back in October. Yes.
So I'd assume probably the same, honestly.
Yeah.
Spurs do not.
I mean,
Spurs concede. They don't. I think
yeah,
Hugo's
they're
clean
on the road,
sheet
so you know
is-
Mourinho's going to try to sit in on the road.
Yeah, I mean, we're parking the bus hard.
Yeah.
That's when you get, maybe grab. I mean, this game is like a Sushek game.
Yes. My man, Thomas Tuchel.
What a signing.
He has been. I mean, you got West Ham still sitting in 5th place, man. I mean, some of the other guys early in this season that made early runs, and we were like, all right, it's nice, but at the end of the day, we'll see them between that 12 and 14 reign, like Southampton, like Leeds. West Ham hasn't done it yet. West Ham has just stayed the course. They find ways to get points in games that they should absolutely get points in and get results. And yeah, I mean, having only played 24 games, sitting at 42 points for a West Ham team that had probably pretty low expectations coming into this season after last year. And they, like we said, they snuck their way back in, not getting relegated at the end of the season last year after COVID. There wasn't much bright spots. There wasn't much additions going on. Everybody was kind of questioning David Moyes and his tactics, and they've done nothing but make the right moves. And like you said, in Sushek coming in and then leading that team, Mikel Antonio gets knocked, guys step up. They decide to move on from Sebastian Haller. Looks like a good move. I think maybe there were some issues in the locker room after a hot start. Maybe he got a little cocky and didn't know how to handle not having success towards the end of the year there. But Mikel Antonio's come in and just been phenomenal leader for that team.
Yeah.
Declan Rice has been good. I mean, that whole team is just, it's been a really balanced team.
I feel like Ogbonna as well is kind of like the backbone there.
Yeah.
Playing really well. Aaron Cresswell, they got a pretty good defense. Fabianski's actually played really well this year for the most part.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there hasn't been much loss in their in their swagger this season. They've come out and kind of stood toe to toe with everybody that they've faced.
Who'd have thunk? David Moyes.
Yeah. I mean, right now they're holding down that last Europe spot over Liverpool. So
I'd love to see a nice Hammers in Europa League.
I'd love to see the Hammers hammer the Spurs. That's what I would love to see.
I mean, I think we would all just love that. No offense, Lord Walker.
Honestly, I'm going to need that because I have a feeling my game in the afternoon is not going to go quite as I'm hoping as a supporter. So I'm going to need some kind of bright spot in my Sunday.
Before we go into that and talking about your mental health, we should talk about a serious mental health and one of our sponsors. Obviously, with this year, 2020 was a crazy fucking year. Mentally, probably very challenging and tough on a lot of people. I know for us, it was one of those, we started really high and then it was that low period. Wasn't sure if we were even going to continue this horse shit.
Yeah.
It was sweet, very tough, and the mentality and just everything was very low. And of course, we all deal with it. We all deal with anxiety. It happens. I do too. But you know what? The people at the counseling center and Sunrise Detox are there to help you. You can call them at any time if you need someone to talk to. 856-651-8117. Tell them Tom's from A2D sent you. And you can even come on here and we can get the help you need. We're always here to talk. We always say this is a safe space here on the show. We don't always have to talk about soccer, but we could talk about other things if you need that, escape or, feeling like you're alone, because you're never alone. You're always loved and you always have somebody there for you. So instead,
you see the Twitter handle down there that goes directly to me. So you want to send a private message, you don't feel comfortable doing it right in the comments or something like that, you want a private message there, or go, even on Kickin and Stateside's Facebook and message it. Adam and I both see those messages. You could talk to us on there, whatever you need. We're here for you. A2D's here for you. If anything, if you guys haven't seen it, anybody that's around A2D, it is very much a family atmosphere. Everybody supports each other. And then obviously we'll help you get, if it's beyond our control, we'll help you get to these guys, and get you even more help, because they are the professionals.
Absolutely. Well said, sir. But yeah, speaking of that, your Arsenal boys have a quite a tough task ahead of them, facing the red-hot Manchester City. What are your thoughts going into this one? Do you even have a shot at coming out with not only just 3 points, but a point? What is your thinking?
I don't know. I'm hopeful. But again, I went from angry Arsenal fan to hopeful Arsenal fan to now realistic Arsenal fan. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're playing the best team in the Premier League right now, by far. The hottest team, probably one of the hottest teams in the world right now, by far. So the expectations have to be competition. I need to see competition. I can't see you going out there and laying over and dying in this game. You got to fight in this game. You're at home. You're playing the big boys. This is a chance before this last third of the season to really get things turned around and make at least a nice stretch run to finish this season in a better position than freaking 10th place. And it starts tomorrow. Again, it starts tomorrow. Even if you don't get points tomorrow, but you get out of there like a 2-1 loss, I mean, that can almost at least give you some kind of credibility, some kind of hope that the remainder of the season, if you're playing a team like that at that level, that the rest of the schedule, we've been through the hard part of our schedule. Do we have a couple more hard teams? Yeah, but this will be the second game against City. We've already played United twice. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to be biased. You joke with me all the time about keeping the bias, and maybe when we made those 11s, I was a little unbiased.
Wow.
At times, going back to that real quick. I thought a little bit more about De Bruyne, and here's my thought on when we're making an 11, the best 11 in the history of these two clubs combined, and where does he fit in there? To me, I probably downgraded him a little bit.
Oh yeah, you're shitting on him for no reason.
He's right now, today, he's the first substitute to me in the midfield. By the time his career is over, he probably will, and barring any injuries, earn a starting spot in that midfield, in my book. How about that? Okay. Is that better? Like, I feel like better. All those other guys that we put into those 11s, careers are over, where his is still happening. So statistically and things like that, there's more for them to stand on.
Oh, yeah. He's only 29. He has a lot more to go in the tank, but I don't know.
Will he pass Silva in my mind? Absolutely. You know, will he pass some other guys that we named?
I think he's past Cesc already, but that's where we differentiate.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, I don't know how you could say that, because Fabregas is second in the history of the league in assists. De Bruyne is only 40. De Bruyne is only about 40 behind him, which is crazy. But he's still 40 behind him. The guy's career could end tomorrow. And if he gets a debilitating, I don't want to put this on anybody, but just say he gets a career-ending injury tomorrow, then his stats end, and based off of where his stats are now, I don't think you could put him in there. I think that's where my perspective was on that. But if his stats stay on the trend that they are, and he's going to continue to average 10 to 15 assists for the next 5 years, then absolutely he takes Fabregas' spot in a heartbeat.
He's one of those guys like I guess maybe like Peyton Manning, who's waiting for that Super Bowl trophy, and when he finally gets that ring, it's like, okay, now we can really say he is a Hall of Fame guy, not just based on his numbers. So I feel like if KDB, if they can win the Champions League this year or whenever,
if they go on to win Champions League this year and he's a big part of it,
and if they win the league again this year as well, it's like, all right,
I'll make that change a little early. But again, I think his biggest thing against him is he just needs the longevity. He needs more time.
Yeah.
To make that list for me, he needs a couple more years, and he's got to be able to stay healthy, stay fit, playing, add more statistics, and then I'll have no problem putting him on that list 3 years from now, 4 years from now when we redo it again.
Well, again, there's a lot of like what ifs for him, because his career's not over like Cesc is and some of these older guys. So again, if the trajectory that he's on, he does that same thing for the next 5-6 years, then absolutely he'll be cemented for sure in that all-time list. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm just noticing what his stats have been, and the way he can pass the ball is just like nobody I've seen. At least, again, I got into soccer a lot later than probably some of you guys have, but just
my only thing with him was I feel like the Belgian team has still not lived up to the hype of that generation, and he's the guy. He was the centerpiece of that entire Belgian team that was supposed to compete internationally and win a Euros, possibly win a World Cup.
Basically the last run, probably this World Cup. This is their big shot.
Yeah. So it really falls on that more for me too, I think, than anything else.
On the international stage, it's
it's close.
It's a toss up, but I get what you're saying. But
these questions are always hard for me because to me, like, I don't know. That's why I hate playing these games sometimes because there's so many variants. It's like, all right, are we talking about just their time on this team? Or are we talking about their career as a whole? Are we talking about their career just in one league? Like, look at what Cesc did, too, with Barcelona. I mean, like, that's the thing. Are we opening it up to their career?
What I think of when you say all-time Arsenal, Man City, I think of what they did at that club and not outside. But that's just my interpretation.
It's hard for me to put, I guess, to do that. And that's always my problem with those type of questions.
Because I think if it's
I like to look at things as a whole.
As a whole, then you say, yeah, Cesc probably had a better career at Barcelona, I'd say, almost than Arsenal. I mean, both were fantastic because he was so young and he was so gifted. But when he moved to Barcelona, it's like he didn't even skip a beat.
I think your taint on Cesc is just because, as typical, I mean, he was good for Chelsea, but he wasn't what you thought. He wasn't what he was at Arsenal and Barcelona by the time he got to Chelsea. And those 5 years was never quite probably what you thought and what you paid for.
I don't even think of him as like a big Chelsea guy. Like that was. Like,
I know. I almost forgot he was there.
That's like not even like a thought. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
That was his tail end of his career, and
yeah.
I think a lot of Chelsea fans knew what they were getting, but maybe Roman was like, yeah, maybe he's got a little bit left in the boots, which he did, but
he did.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I just want to go over what we came up with as Kicking It Stateside and leave it at that. Since we're running out of time, we won't
absolutely
deep dive into it.
Yeah.
So goalkeeper, we're kind of torn on. Jens Lehmann from Arsenal back in the day during the good Arsene Wenger like Henry days, or David Seaman, who was pretty good in his time from what Lord Walker has said. We're kind of torn. David Seaman played 355 times for Arsenal and was the English goalie for 15 years. If you want to talk about, again, if we're doing the whole thing. Just Arsenal, though, that's a lot of appearances. And he did better than Jens Lehmann. I think Jens Lehmann only had about like 160 caps for Arsenal appearance-wise. So defensively, we said Ashley Cole again, based on his Arsenal days. Or Hull, because Chelsea, he was fantastic as well. You were saying Sol Campbell or Tony Adams. I think we were kind of torn on which Arsenal guy to throw in there. Obviously, Vincent Kompany is hands
whether
down
it's City or
selection.
As a whole. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right back, we thought Pablo Zabaleta because he was a pretty good stalwart for City. That was kind of when they were on the rise up and when they actually started buying players.
Yeah.
Midfield, again, it was kind of like, all right, let's add a fourth and play 4-4-2. Patrick Vieira, Yaya Toure, David Silva, and Cesc in the midfield.
With De Bruyne
right on the bench for a sub.
Right.
And then forwards, pretty easy, Henry and Kun Aguero.
Yeah, with a Ian Wright. Probably
with an Ian Wright, or you could put maybe like Alexis if you want to throw him up top. No.
Nope, not doing it.
Doesn't make the 18.
Not on my team.
Oh, God.
Nah, he was Alexis is a good player. You can't take away from
he
what
was great at Arsenal. Shit.
Here's the thing. Sometimes things, relationships don't end the way they started, and it taints your view of somebody. And unfortunately for him, that's exactly what happened.
You're like, what have you done for me lately?
Oh, dude, I was an Alexis guy. Number 7 all day. Let's go. And then things change. Things
do change.
So
So we did mention there is Man United versus Newcastle tomorrow at 2:00. that will round out the Sunday. United again. I mean, they went to Real Sociedad and beat the brakes off them, which I didn't really see happening. And now they got a Newcastle team who's been pretty poor. So, I mean, do we see a Man United squad coming in here scoring like another crazy 4 goals, or is it going to be a Man U team that struggled against, Sheffield type? Because, Newcastle's just hopefully going to try and batten down the hatches and hope for a point in this one. Steve Bruce is like, I don't know. We're just going to hopefully hope for the best.
Counter into a Callum Wilson goal and get out of there.
In his dreams, that's what he wants. I don't see it. I don't see anything from Newcastle that'll prove me that's yep. I am very confident in this team, and I am very confident they are going to get a point out of this. Not at all.
Yeah.
No. Don't see it.
I'm hopeful, but doubtful.
The doubt has crept in.
Yeah.
Then I guess we get the lucky one. I guess this is a makeup game. Leeds and Southampton on Tuesday will end the official Premier League week. Both teams have already played. Obviously, Leeds lost yesterday to Wolves, and then Southampton tied Chelsea this morning. So I'm hopeful in a selfish way for my fantasy team that I hope Leeds gets 5 goals conceded on them, and Southampton comes up huge. But the way that Leeds plays at home and the way Southampton, obviously they only gave up 1 today, but it's not like their defense has been what it was, a month ago.
Yeah, no, it's definitely taken a little step back, and they're another team that's looking like, they've played a lot of football lately. And they're hanging in there. They're staying competitive. I don't expect anything else out of a team led by Ralph Hasenhüttl. They're always going to fight. And, but they're not the team. They're not the team they were 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And the stretch of games may be catching up to them. Leeds is in need of a win. They've had a couple tough games in a row. So sometimes it's always a matter of when you catch a team too. And they may not be catching this Leeds team at the right time to get things kind of turned around for themselves either. So we shall definitely see what kind of game it should be. That should be a fun game to watch, though. I think that game should have some flair to it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I see some goals being scored in that, and it's not what I want. Again, selfishly, but I don't know. Again, there's a lot of optimism today. Yeah. Any red card, yellow card that you got before we check on out of here?
Yeah, I had a quick one, and I just wanted, while we came on, we never really got a segue to announce it because it happened after we just started briefly talking about MLS. But Inter Miami is at it again, and they sign ex-Prem star and Leeds former Stoke striker and captain Ryan Shawcross.
Yeah, I saw a little Inter Miami action.
Yeah, coming over to Miami. So this Miami team is going to do everything they can to be super relevant. I don't know if it's actually going to work in the MLS. It's never really worked before. But they're making some interesting moves.
It's also the Miami market. So it's how many people know Ryan Shawcross actually?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm going to make that. I'll make that my yellow card. Is this Miami team? They're kind of on notice because they came in blasting. I talked about I figured the way they were going to structure it, they might win a title in the first 5 years of the MLS was my hot take on this Miami team. And it looks like Beckham's going to do everything in his power to keep bringing in guys to do that. But at some point, you're going to go on notice because you're going to spend all this money and you're going to try and change how things are done a little bit in the MLS. You got to get results. You got to start winning these games. You're bringing in all these names and all these former stars and talent. But if you're not getting the results, it's really not going to matter at the end of the day. And it's going to look more as a failure than anything. So I would give them my yellow.
It's kind of silly. And I brought this up to Zach, and he's like, fuck that guy. He broke Aaron Ramsey's leg. I'll never forgive him for that. It's like, okay. You're right. Yeah. Sorry. And
my red card, honestly, I was going to go somewhere else. But now reading this a little bit more too, I'm going right after, what I think is part of the problem at Barcelona is Ronald Koeman. And now he's coming at our boy, Sergiño Dest, and that's the last thing we need as USA fans, and basically saying that part of it's his fault and he switched off Mbappe too many times. Well, guess what? If he's switching off Mbappe too many times, your job as a coach is to make sure he doesn't switch off Mbappe too many times. So get in there, get this kid coached up. Or either
don't talk about it, be about it, help him.
Yeah, get Sergiño out of this mess that may be Barcelona, who knows? Or maybe get Ronald Koeman out of there and get somebody else in there.
Well, it's good. It's a good possibility that Koeman's going to be gonzo here.
Yeah,
they have a quick trigger as much as Chelsea and Abramovich does. If you don't do well, you're done. Very cool. Speaking of that, my combination of yellow-red is my boy Tommy Tuchel. You're coming at my guys all wrong. And you're coming at them too hard. I'm sorry. That's my thoughts about it. You can't convince me otherwise. You got 1 month with the team, just 1 month with the club, and you're already doing this shit. You basically embarrassed Cho today, subbing him off 30 minutes into the game after you just put him on. Like, that does nothing, I'm sorry, for anybody's confidence. That if I was subbed out after that, I'd be like, what the hell? Like, that's not what we want to see from your manager. I don't care if it's tough love or you just being a fucking prick, but it's like that's not. There's different ways to go about it, like I mentioned earlier in the show, to do things, and I think that was just not a good way. I could see if you're there at the club for multiple months and you have a good relationship and everything's going well and all this other shit, but it's like you just got there and you put your balls on the table from day one, and now you're still having your dick out the whole time and swinging it around thinking you're this high and mighty guy. It's like, dude, are you trying to prove a point to Roman, or who are you trying to prove a point to? Is the question.
I think he's trying to save his job, and it is going to hurt your Chelsea team, unfortunately, because
it's going to cause a huge rift. Because you said, Cho and Tammy looking at each other after that sub, they're like,
go back and watch that over and over again, and watch Tammy's eyes. The eyes say it all. Tammy makes eye contact. They're sitting socially distanced on the bench. Tammy had his mask on. Cho didn't yet. They look at each other, and Tammy gives one of these, like, yeah, bro, I don't know, man. This guy, really? Like, this guy comes in here. We got rid of a legend at Chelsea for this? Really? So
who they probably enjoyed playing for, who is again, it's probably the tough love thing, too, because you had Frank. He's probably not doing that. He's probably more buddy-buddy with you. And Tommy Tuchel is like the complete opposite, and it's like a shock factor to some of these guys. And again, I'm not saying that some of these youngsters aren't soft, but I just think there's a better way to go about what he did today. He basically did embarrass him in a way subbing him off the pitch after just putting him on 30 minutes before that. Like, I think he could have just let it go. If it was that bad, call him over to this touch line and be like, dude, like, what are you doing? Do what I ask.
Yeah.
Like, not just be like, quick trigger, yank him out. Like, I don't know. It's just, it puts a sour taste in some of the players' mouths. I think it puts a sour taste in some of the fans' mouths. Like, it's
I don't
not
like
a good
the
start.
softness of some of today's athletes, but at the same time, you have to understand that that's where we're at, I guess. You're right. And, you know, when you're coaching a group of men, everybody's different. And if one of your guys is a really good player, but his personality is just different, then I think to be the best leader of men and as a coach, you have to massage that a little bit. And I don't think this is going to be the guy that's going to do that. And that could hurt you. That could definitely hurt you. So,
because, I mean, you don't want to divide in the locker room and guys, you know, all the English guys saying, oh, man, like, this ain't it what we signed up for, you know, one of those.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because he came in guns blazing, and sometimes that rubs. Again, you got to know who you're dealing with because everybody's different. And to be a good manager, you have to not just be a good coach, but you also have to be and understand the different players and come to them and be like, yo, like, you know, what do you need? Like, sorry, I was too tough on you. Like, we are going to get better. Don't worry about it. Not just, again, dick swinging around like, fuck all you guys. I'm the boss. Like, this is what's going down type shit. Like, it's not Germany, bro. It's not Germany. At the end of the day, though, he's getting results, and that's all that's going to matter. He's been getting results, which is true. Weird lineups or not, it's you know. Yeah, it hasn't been pretty at all, but you know, it's frustrating, but it is. They have not lost, so yeah, it could be a lot worse, I guess. I don't know. And there's also a knife robbery at the CVS down the street. That's a great place to leave it. Living in Philly, man, there's never a dull moment. But again, thank you guys for tuning in to our shenanigans, and hopefully we gave you a little bit of an insight on what's to come for us here at Kickin' It Stateside, and not only us here, but obviously A2D as well. Like and subscribe. Yes, Kickin' It Stateside on Facebook, IG, Twitter. Obviously, everywhere. We have our own personals, Adam Modick, Brian Wheeler on Facebook. Again, thanks, Pete, Lord Walker, as always, Tommy, Eric, Eddie, as always, Rob. We got Pove checking in. Yeah, Ritter, Greg, of course, from beautiful Florida, Evan, Chrome. Levi, thanks for joining us today, bro. Really appreciate it. Levi, Jake, Eddie, and everybody else. And Daniel. So thank you guys again. Enjoy your weekend. And we will see you guys next week to talk some more of this beautiful, beautiful game. Go Gunners. Love y'all. Later. Later. Love you.